Hi guys, welcome to our Tuesday night training call. This evening, as you have probably seen, we are going to be talking about the 4 color personalities of network marketing. Jason and I both recently read Big Al's book about it.
By read, she means we listened to it.
Right. Audible.com is the way to go. But it's really great stuff, and we thought we would provide a training for you guys on it, save you a little bit of reading, but I do recommend you read it also. But it's really great stuff, and you know, his big thing is talking to people in their language instead of your language. And I really equate it to the 5 love languages, if you've ever read that. And you know, it's just talking to them how they would hear you and really receive it versus how you interpret things to be. And that's really the key to network marketing is, you know, getting your point across, and you want it to be received, but you have to communicate it in a way that they would receive it. So Jason really took a lot of time to prepare this training. So he's going to be really the big trainer here. I might give a little insight here and there, but I'll let him take it away.
Read, right? That's what I do. So just to kind of give you guys, I don't know who has background in this, but this is kind of eye-opening to me because me and Whitney both always thought, why don't people just get it like we did, you know? But it's because we were telling the wrong thing. So the example he uses in the book is, say you go to Portugal wanting to talk about Plexus, right? We have a great CEO, great leadership, amazing products, great comp plan. We're going to get trips to Hawaii, Lexuses, and who knows what else they're going to come up with. We go to Portugal, we give our spiel, however, nobody responds. Why? Because they speak Portuguese in Portugal, right? We told them all these great things, but we didn't say it to them in their language. And the 4 colors work exactly the same way. If I'm telling everybody what I love about the company, but they're not me, they won't reflect for them. So, sorry, I'm going to refer to my notes a lot.
He has notes, which is awesome because we typically don't do that.
So, because I've almost referred to colors 3 times now. I'm going to go ahead and go over the colors with everybody. So, in network marketing, there are 4 colors, 4 personality colors. You have your red, your blue, your green, and your yellow. And some keywords to remember for each one, I'm going to give to you now, and then we'll go over each personality type. Red, they're all about the money. Blue, they just like to party and have fun. Green, they're analytical, facts, data types. Then yellow are your helpers. Those are pretty basic types. I think we can all visualize people that we know that fit in those different personalities. Okay, so we'll go into the colors right now about each specific color and kind of just some characteristics of each color, and then we'll start going over some examples of it. All right. First, your yellow. What I was looking at, yellows make up about 35% of our population, so just over a third. They're very open with their relationships and indirect with their communication. They are best at using both sides of their brains. They're relationship and family-oriented, logical, analytical, and teamwork is very important to them. The type of jobs you would see yellows having would be your teachers, social workers, or any type of nurturing type job. They give back to others. What they don't like is pushy people, aggressiveness, sudden change, or they actually have written here animal cruelty. I'm not very much a yellow, but I don't like animal cruelty either. So I guess yellows really don't like it. And they are usually very supportive, casual, and soft-spoken. The yellow strengths are dependable, patient, good listeners, and they give back really well. Some of their weaknesses are they're overly sensitive, they take things personal, they buy others' excuses, lack assertiveness, can be taken advantage of, lack self-confidence, and don't like forcing their opinions on others.
Can I say a few things?
Sure.
So in the book, he gave over-exaggerating examples of each color personality, and his yellow is basically the hugger. So, you know, imagine like that person, we all know at least one of those people that, you know, want to hug at every occasion, like for no reason at all. the people that, you know, you say, hey, can I talk to you about plexus? And she says, yeah, let me make you some cookies first. Come on over, sit down. I'll take care of you. And then you talk to me about it. Right. Sorry. Another thing that now I lost my train of thought.
Sorry.
But anyway, so yellows basically like really help people. Oh, the other thing is that yellows are most likely the personalities that join because they feel bad, and you talk to them about it. They don't want to disappoint you, so they join, but then they end up turning off their auto ship after a month or so. That can be a yellow kind of trait also, just very like passively saying no, not sure how to say no. So they join, but then they're like, I didn't want to do that. So that could also be a yellow trait.
So the way you want to talk to a yellow is slowly and relax and let them know they're appreciated. You don't want to come across too aggressive, too loud. They are not interested in the trips cards, our research or comp plan, and they would just want to know how they can help others with the company. That's truly all they care about. You gave another example about if a company were to write all of us and say they're cutting our income in half, yellows would be like, okay, good. It's probably going to go to a better cause than me anyway. Personally, I would hate that, but yellows would love it. So
the yellow people, the things that you want to approach with them are how plexus is helping change people's lives, their health, their finances, how it's helping moms stay at home with their babies, how it's helping young mothers have more energy to take care of their families, or older people have more energy to kind of get through the day. So you really want to hone in on what our products are and how they're helping people, because that's their language. That's what they want to know about.
Cool. We will move on to blue personalities.
So
Blues make up only about 15% of the population. They're very open with their feelings and they're very direct with their communication. They're very right brain. They talk fast, creative. They must have fun doing things. They're strong on family relationships, spontaneous, enthusiastic. They're very easy to recognize. They talk a lot. Okay.
So I have a cousin Dennis. Literally, like, he'll call you to see how you're doing and catch up with you, but you don't get a word in. Like, this is the person that, like, asks a question, but then asks and talks about 15 other things for the next 10 minutes, and you never get to understand what the question was or answer because you don't know what you're answering anymore. So that's your blue. Think like over-exaggeration, but that's your blue person. He keeps looking at me, but I'm not that person. Go on now.
Okay. Blues have jobs like sales, singer, songwriter, anything that is creative. He goes on to say that blues are made for network marketing, right? Building friendships, getting people excited. They don't like not having fun, facts and figures, and being sold. Some of their strengths are they're always talking, fun, outgoing, motivational skills, storytelling. They're promoters. They're huge promoters. Their weaknesses are unorganized, unreliable, whimsical, scattered, and poor savers, and they don't listen. They don't listen because they're always talking.
Right. So blues are hard to get on your team. Blues are what you want on your team. Well, you want everybody on your team, but blues make the great network marketers, but they're hard to get on your team because you can't get a word in edgewise when you're trying to tell them about the products. So that's the big thing that he kind of gives you a red flag on. Like, it's a hard sell because you want to tell him about plexus, but you can't.
I would guess blues would be probably the ones to talk. You would just bring up casually in a conversation, or they might actually reach out to you because they see us sharing pictures of our meetings, our trips, and stuff like that. When you do talk to a blue, focus on the fun, talk about the excitement, don't sell a blue. All right, next up is the logical side of our color chart, and that is our greens. I'm somewhat of a green.
There's some greens in the house.
Next is greens. They make up about 35% of the population. They're indirect with their feelings and self-contained with their feelings. Right brain, very logical, analytical. They are precise. You need to have all the facts and figures. They are savers, organized, task-oriented, accurate. Let's get the kids to college. You know, that focus. And greens are the best negotiators. Some of their jobs include engineers, accountants, CPAs, professors, anything to do with logic and reasoning. They do not like pushy people, not having all the facts and figures bother them, not being on time, aggressiveness, and they get depressed easily and are hard to please. Strengths, very organized, great planning skills, very neat and detail-oriented. The weaknesses include procrastination, being critical, depression and insecurity, hard to please, and they're negative Nancy's. When you speak to greens, you're going to give them facts and figures. You cannot overload greens with information. So the green people, Denise would be able to communicate well with, because she has very detailed knowledge of our products, why our products are so spectacular. She can speak to that very well, much better than, greens would be interested in the growth rate of our company. Wow, the company has grown at X percentage over time. Greens would be concerned about how many people does it take for me to earn $1,000, right? They're very analytical, facts, figures. So greens are kind of easy to communicate with, no touchy-feely, facts, details.
But they also may take a while, because they're going to process things, and it's not going to be like a quick decision for them. I know Amy can attest to that. Like, she had a lot of questions before. She was very openly a green. She had a lot of questions before she joined, and, it took her a while. And she said, she was like, this is something like I'm really going to think about. I like to think about things before I make a decision, which there's nothing wrong with that. But just realize, if you're communicating with a green, they might not, make a decision in your timeline. It's going to be their timeline, and it might be after another 50 or 500 questions that they have. So just be patient with them and work with them and answer their questions, and, the facts will sell themselves. So just give them all the information.
And greens will also be the ones that stick around, right? Because they've done all their research, and they're very comfortable with the decision they're making.
One example really quick that he also talked about in the book, like the blues are going to want to be more open to like meeting up face-to-face, talking to you, even like if they're on your team, kind of like wanting to grow the business. Like, hey, let's meet up for coffee. I want to type out Plexus. Greens, if you're reaching out to a green, they're most likely going to be like, can we just email or text instead? Like, they're not going to want to, be face-to-face, like, up in the party area. Like, they just want to be like low key, stay in their house or wherever they're comfortable, and just text. And that's fine. Different people have different preferences, and that's okay, but just kind of like be aware of that.
Cool. And the last color is reds. That is 15% of the population. They're direct and self-contained with their feelings. Reds are right brain. Their slogan is, it's basically my way or the highway. Forceful, stern to the point. No chit chat. Money is power. Take action. Task oriented, impatient, unteachable. Show me the money. So I'm a red too, which is really weird because when you kind of look at them, like green and red kind of conflict the most. But that's me. And I drive her crazy because of it.
But we complement each other well.
So the types of jobs you would most likely see reds have include CEOs, attorneys, military leaders, and presidents of the bank. Reds do not like losing control, indecision, small talk, or crying. They don't like talking about time, freedom, family, or vacations. Strengths include self-confidence, ambition, leadership potential. Weaknesses include impatience, arrogance, rudeness, big egos, domineering, and unteachable. So
I'm sure we all know reds also.
When you talk to a red, you need to let them think you need them. They like being sold, close them, focus on the money, and stroke their ego. Talk about your leaders' incomes. So reds, blues are easy to recognize, and reds, I think, are pretty easy to recognize, right? So, I mean, I would say of all of them, those are two ones that are pretty easy to recognize.
And the thing is, all of us have a portion of each color. You don't have, most people don't have just one dominant color. So that's totally fine. Like Jason and I talked about, and, we both see all of the colors in ourselves. So we just kind of ranked them in order. But, I mean, we both have a dominant color also.
Yeah, I don't think I have blue. I'm not very,
no.
I don't think I have blue
no.
very much. I mean, I have blue with people I'm familiar with, but with strangers, I'm not very blue. Okay, so we've kind of gone over that. If there's any really, we're going to do Q&A at the end, but if anybody has any questions right now,
you can type them in or raise your hand.
Yeah, type them in and we'll answer them. If not, now that we know the 4 personalities, we're going to kind of get into why it's important if anybody doesn't have anything. Okay, why is it important? So hopefully this is pretty self-explanatory, but why is it important, right? So I know Whitney and I both struggled when we first started Plexus because we were one of those people that just got it right away. Like, okay, yep, we're all in. I mean, Whitney has an example of how quickly she earned customers that very few people actually do. So we struggled figuring out, why are there other people who aren't jumping on this bandwagon?
Why don't they want this?
Like, are all of our friends not intelligent? What is going on? That's not the case, obviously. It's because we weren't speaking to them in the language they understood. We were very hyper about the time freedom and the money aspect, and only certain people cared about that. So why is it important is so that when you communicate with prospects, you speak the language they understand. And that's why this is important. One way to get there is you need to understand what you are, the color you are. And you need to find that what you think you are doesn't matter. You need to ask the people around you what color you are, because this is more like thoughts, feelings, and communication. So you want what other people say you are is, I would really listen to that, because I can think I'm a yellow, and if Whitney says you're full of crap, you're not a yellow at all, here's why, and I can go, oh, okay, you're right. So I would, if you don't know what color you are, I would seek feedback from those around you. And sometimes people find out they think they're one color. Like Whitney, I think, has changed colors 4 times over the course of
So here's a quick story. So, like the visuals that we shared on the Facebook pages, before reading this book, just looking at those visuals, I was like, oh, I'm like an orange. I'm like a little bit of yellow, a lot of yellow, a little bit of red, makes a nice, pretty orange color. Listening to the book, Jason got home from work the other day, and I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, I'm red. Like, I'm not yellow at all. Like, I'm just red. And he was like, no, you're not. Like, what are you talking about? You're blue. I was like, where did that come from? So, yeah, definitely get the input from people around you, too, because after he said that, I was like, yeah, I can see some of that. Not all of it, but I can see some of it. But, yeah, so it's definitely interesting to hear what other people's take on your personality is. So it's definitely good to have an understanding of how other people view you also. Yeah,
so, that's the important thing, right? This is so that we can talk to our prospects. This isn't so we can have some sort of self-actualization about us. It's so we can talk to folks that are around us.
And know how we naturally come across versus how we should come across to talk to certain people.
Right. So how do you figure out somebody else's color? You ask a lot of questions. So this is a great skill for us in our business anyway. The way we connect with people is asking questions. So if you want to start learning this, you ask questions, right? Like you make them feel like, okay, I'm going to say this and it's going to sound a lot meaner though. Make them feel like you care about them. You do, but that's how you portray it, right? You portray that you care about them by asking them questions, but you're also going to learn what personality type they are, right? And some of the types of questions you can ask are, what is your career? What are your hobbies? Because most people actually have a personal color and then they have a career color, right? My career right now is I'm an operations manager for a growing e-commerce company in Indianapolis. So my job is red. I'm red with, I don't have to care about anybody really. Green and red, right? Red, 80% green, because I got to do some analytics to figure out what I'm going to do and stuff. But red and green is what I do. It just so happens that I think that's majority of my actual personality as well. But one thing you want to do, you don't necessarily want to just go on career, right? Say Amy loves helping people and she's in customer service, right? She does such a good job in customer service, she becomes a manager. Oh, crap. Now she's in a red job. She's a very yellow personality. So one of the probing questions you can ask people is when they say, hey, I am in whatever, I'm a nurse. Well, how do you like being a nurse? Oh, I hate it. I can't stand people.
Then they're not a yellow.
I would just rather sit on a desk, right? Or behind a desk. So ask, just dig deep, right? Dig deep with your questions. Get to the root of them, who they are, ask them what they did with their weekends. You can just obviously ask questions. And
it's kind of a fun game to play, like talk to people trying to figure out what color they are. I volunteered in the church nursery over the weekend and I came home and I was like, oh, Jason, this lady was such a blue. She didn't stop talking. But it's cool to, just kind of play that game and really try and pinpoint who's who. And not even that you're going to be approaching them about plexus, but just to fine tune that skill for yourself.
And another thing he touches on about all the colors is they all are good leaders. Every color is a good leader. You need all colors to have a successful organization. An example he gives, So say you have 12 yellows sitting around after a meeting and they're trying to decide go to lunch. Everybody's going to starve because nobody's going to make a decision. That's why you need the reds. And the blues are just going to talk all the way, and they're going to starve because they're talking the whole time.
So the yellows are going to be, they're like, oh, I don't know, and no one's making a decision. The red's going to come in and say, okay, let's go down the hall to the food court. We'll get food. It'll be quick enough to be back to the meeting in time to start again.
Right.
Yellows will follow. The blues are just going to, go along and chit-chat the whole way. And then the greens, I don't know, they'll be analyzing data while they're going.
Right. And, yellows appreciate that leadership, right? Yellows do not like they will if they have to, some of them, but they don't like having to be the one to make decisions or tell people no or hurt feelings. I think a great visual they had, it's not a visual, I listened to the book, but the example he gave that I think shows people's personalities is each personality type walking into a loud banquet hall for a type of reception, right? So the yellows are going to look for the table with either no one or one person all by themselves, and they're going to go over there and join them and put their arm around them and befriend them, right? The greens, they're not going to go to the banquet. They're going to stay home because they don't like to be around people. The reds are going to go in, and they're going to grab the microphone, take charge, tell everybody what they're eating,
sit down,
what time it's happening, what music the band's playing. And then blues are just going to walk around from table to table socializing, right? So those are the diffs. So it is very important that we just understand the different personality types. Like Whitney said, everybody has, not anybody that I've ever met, since reading this book, I've been going over in my mind people I've met in the past. Nobody is just one color. Everybody has pieces of probably every color, but people also have very one or two dominant colors without a doubt. So let me see. I got it all that I outlined here. I think I did. So another thing they talk about in the book is obviously if you talk to somebody of a certain color and they respond a certain way, don't take it personal, right? You just got to understand that's their language. Like Whitney sometimes will ask me, oh, how'd you like that? Or what do you think of that? Oh, that sucked. And, I'm not trying to be mean. It's just that I'm not going to say, well, it could have been better. No, it was just bad. Whatever it was. Whatever.
Or if you're blue and you want to get like a lengthy response and you get a one-word response.
Right. Yeah.
Or like a thumbs up on Messenger.
So,
same thing.
That's what happens. Hey, babe, how's your day going? Good. Her head explodes, and I just told her how my day was going. So that's a great example. I think that's everything I wanted to cover. We can kind of open it up to some discussion, or we could do some practicing on one another, how to discover each other's personality types for those of us who don't know one another. So anybody got any questions?
You're all unmuted now, unless you have yourself muted.
Hold on.
So questions.
Hold on. Before question. Some books are definitely read books, but I say you should read so you can highlight and take notes. Other books are listening books. So this book, I would say listen to, because you can make your notes about people as you're writing them. Like, I think you're going to want to take a lot of notes while you're taking it, not real quick highlights. Like, I like to highlight for quotes I want to share or things like that. This book isn't a quotable book. This is very much a teaching book, I think, and it's very simple. It's a 2-hour listen to book. I listened to it on my drive I did the whirlwind trip to Pennsylvania. So I'm going to listen to it again and make more notes about each personality type. But I would listen to it, but that's just me. Obviously, works best for you. Plus, I can stay more focused when I listen. When I read, I get distracted and start thinking about the things I have to do a lot of times. Okay, question. Comments? Anybody? Hello?
Anybody want to share what they think, what color they think they are? Oh, I think you might be muted. I don't know. I saw you talking, but I didn't hear you.
Let me try something.
Oh,
There you go. Now we hear you.
Do you hear me? Said, I think I'm an orange.
Okay.
So it's red and yellow, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Red and yellow, yes.
Anybody else?
Hold on. Hey, I'm going to ask you guys to do a little game. Amy and Terry, it's because I can see both of you. You guys don't know each other, right? Would one of you volunteer to try to figure out the other one's colors just so we can go through this practice.
Just by looking?
No, have a conversation.
Oh, okay. Like,
if you don't want to, just say so. I'm putting you on the spot. I get it. But like that's what he talks about in the book is you just have to practice it. It's a skill just like anything.
Oh, wow.
If you don't want to, just tell me. I didn't mean to put you on the spot. I just thought it might
Jana's on the call. We could ask her to do that.
This is Denise has green.
Yes.
I think Denise has green in her because she's definitely more like my administrative kind of person. So I would definitely say Denise has green.
You know where that comes from, right?
What's that?
I said, do you know where that comes from, right? I'm married to a green.
Yeah.
He told me to tell you guys. He went to bed, but he told me to tell you guys, Ed's a green.
Yeah, we know that. Yeah, we knew that.
You know that.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Ed's a green and he's a blue-green, like 50-50. Like he's a blue and a green, like 50-50.
Ed doesn't like to have fun.
But he likes to talk a lot.
He does like to be heard.
He talks in the group. That's it. He doesn't talk normally that much.
True.
I'm going to stop the recording.